Hi villaging friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe for new fun villaging content. If you're a return viewer, thanks for stopping on back by. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Forever On Guard piece by Department 56. Now this piece was introduced in 2003 and retired in 2005, so if you have this piece and it no longer lights, or the light is just so dim that you can't even see it, this video is absolutely for you. Today we're going to be taking this piece apart and changing out that LED. So let's get ready to overhaul Forever On Guard. Let's get ready to break down our Forever On Guard figure. Now this is an accessory piece to Castle Blackstone, introduced in 2003 and retired in 2005. It is a multi-composite piece, so we have a porcelain body on a porcelain base, and we have vinyl for the head and cape, as well as some plastic for the armament. Now this particular piece, we're going to be doing the breakdown on this a little bit differently than I've done others. And the reason being is I've had some experience with this piece before, and we're going to be removing that battery pack first. The first thing to do to remove this battery pack is to use a hook pick tool and pry that switch off of the battery pack. Now be careful, as sometimes these are on really well, especially on some of the newer pieces, and they will go flying. It's a compression fitting for the switch into the body of the battery pack. The second thing is, of course, slide the battery pack off and pry the plastic piece that goes the width of the battery pack. This is going to be hiding all the electrical guts that we need to get into and pull out. Now, you need to remove the retaining screw and washer on this, so to speak. Set it off to the side, then everything can be pulled out and the battery case can be discarded. Then we just simply cut off any of the remaining electrical components, including the resistor for the original battery pack. Now at this point, we're not going to be doing any additional wiring with this. Traditionally, I would go ahead and solder on a power jack and so forth, but my experience with this piece tells me not to do that. The reason being, as we start to break this down, part of the process is to remove the head figure. But as we do that, the LED is most likely going to break off inside, and there's going to be very little room to get the wires through. So in the event that you're working on this piece and the wires are trapped inside, you may have to rewire it completely. Starting at the base, we're going to be using a little bit of heat on the hot glue for the channel for the wires in the base. This glue will start to turn a semi-translucent color when it is hot, and it will become somewhat tacky. Now I'm going to be heating this up for about 30 to 40 seconds, then using a hook pick tool to simply scrape the channel. In my experience with this piece, if you get the glue good and hot, it will come out pretty much as one solid chunk. Now there is heat shrink on the wire that is fed up into the base, and there's going to be a little bit of glue up around it. My experience with the wire of the heat shrinks, I've worked on a couple of these, sometimes it all comes up nice and evenly. Other times the heat shrink like this will rip and you'll have a piece stuck to the bottom. That can be removed later on, so long as we can get the majority of that heat shrink to slide down the wire, we're good to go. With the lower channel freed up, we can start working on removing the helmet of the figure. In order to remove the helmet, there are a couple of key things that you need to keep in mind. The first is that the helmet itself with its cape, that cape is actually glued to the back of the figure in two places. Now the cape is vinyl. If you get it hot enough, you can simply just peel it up and away from the back, and the damage is completely minimal. When you glue it back, you can use a little bit of black acrylic paint to just simply cover up any glue marks or ripped paint. The head is assembled to the body using two types of glue. We have a little bit of hot glue holding the LED in the head, and then of course resin holding the cape and the helmet to the body itself. So simply peeling this up after it's gotten hot, you can see it peels up pretty easily. Now we can start working on the head and wiggling it back and forth. In order to have the best experience while breaking down this figure, keep it as warm as possible. This is going to keep the glue loose, it's going to help break the epoxy bonds, and it's just going to be a much easier process overall. Now, if you are using a variable heat gun that has a temperature dial, absolutely go for it. I say about 100 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit is more than sufficient. Now, if you're using a heat gun that does not have an adjustable temperature, do not use it on this figure. It will absolutely melt the vinyl. With everything good and hot, I'm going to be pinching the head and working it free. Now, if you hear popping while you're doing this, it's just the epoxy resin, or it may be the LED. Now, as you can see, this broke free and the LED is in the head itself. So we have to get this out. And this can be done by a couple of different ways. Now, in this instance of the breakdown, I have a small piece of porcelain that I'm picking at with my hook pick tool right now. That really needs to get out of the way in order to get the rest of the LED out. Now, adding a little bit of heat to this, because again, there are two types of glue within the helmet. We have hot glue for the LED, and of course the epoxy that was holding everything together originally. Heating this up, you can dig out that LED either with a hook pick tool, a Dremel, if you don't have anything to grab onto, or possibly a pair of needle nose pliers. Most of the time, you'll have enough of the leads of the LED to grab onto with a pair of pliers, so you can start working it out. And once we have the LED out, now we can start cleaning this up and making sure our new LED is going to see perfectly inside the helmet. It's going to be very important to remove any excess glue that you can from the figure's head before reassembly. Now, the last thing to do is to pull our wires forward through the figure if possible. Now, this is one of the reasons why I didn't carry on with my battery pack breakdown, because normally I would add on the adapter to everything else. However, this is an interesting accessory, and if the wires are too far in, you just have to pull out what you have and then run the wire again. That's why I didn't complete the battery pack breakdown. Now, using a little bit of extra heat here, because there is the glue around the heat shrink at the bottom and it's of course reset up, we're going to reheat this and then use a pair of offset tweezers to pull the wires from the top. If you can grab onto them and pull them forward, then this project just became the simplest ever. If you, for whatever reason, cannot reach the wires, let's say they broke off too far down in, you'll have to pull them out through the bottom. So as you find yourself in that predicament, rewire from the head to the foot, not foot from the head. Now, let's take a look at some LED options. Let's take a look at the flickering green, which is a more true green versus the original chartreuse. Using a 3-volt power source, this is comprised of one 3mm green flickering LED. The LED has a 10 ohm 0.25 watt plus or minus 5% resistor attached. Now let's take a look at the blue flickering LED. Let's take a look at the flickering blue LED. Now, using a 3-volt power source, this is comprised of one 3mm blue flickering LED. The LED has a 10 ohm 0.25 watt plus or minus 5% resistor attached. Now, let's take a look at the final option of a flickering red LED. Looking at the flickering red using a 3-volt power source, this is of course one 3mm red flickering LED. That is going to have a 68 ohm 0.25 watt plus or minus 5% resistor attached. Now, let's get ready to wire the Forever On Guard figure. Wiring up the Forever On Guard figure actually isn't all that bad. So long as the wire was able to be pulled through the figure, you're in a really good position. If for whatever reason you had to pull the wire out and have to feed it back through, that's going to take a little bit of extra time and actually can be very frustrating with this particular figure, as only one of the legs is hollow, meanwhile the chest cavity is hollow, and the wires like to curl and bind inside. Highly recommend, if you have to do that, feed from the neck down, not from the foot to the neck. Now, with the LED, all I've done is simply strip back the wires using a lighter. Because this wire is 20 years old and I don't know how it's been stored, I'm using a lighter to strip it back versus wire strippers. You could use wire strippers, however, it may cause the wire to break. With these LED connections, we're simply going to be connecting the wires up at the very base of the LED. And I'm only going to put heat shrink on one particular side of this. Now it's going to be very important when wrapping the braided wire around the LED to make sure you have no loose strands and that everything is tucked away nice and neat. I'm using a pair of offset tweezers today to make sure that none of those strays will cause a short later on. For all of my solder connections, I would be using a little bit of flux. Now, if you're new to the channel and you aren't familiar with flux paste, just a quick rundown on it. It allows you to do a solder point connection very cleanly. It's going to burn that connection super hot when you're making your solder connection. So if there's any impurities, dirt, oil, anything like that, it's going to burn off and you'll have a good electrical connection. Of course, after soldering, we're going to be trimming off that excess, but I'm going to go ahead and get the other leg of this attached. With this, again, it's just wrapping the braided wire around the base of the LED as close to the LED as possible. We have limited working space with the LED in the helmet, so we need to make sure those connections are as tight as possible. Generally speaking, as a best practice, it is best to do an offset of your solder connections just to prevent any future shorts. However, because this is such a tight clearance, we are going to be doing them pretty much side by side. This can leave the door open to potential shorts later on if the braided wires aren't secure in place. However, after using the heat shrink, and if I have any other concern in my mind, what I'll do is as I'm setting that LED into the figure, pulling that wire down and through, I'll use a little bit of hot glue to act as an insulator. Remember, hot glue is non-conductive. With the LED in place, I'm going to pull it down into the figure and make sure it can sit properly in the opening at the top of the neck. If there's any extra glue or debris, that's going to need to be removed before placing the LED into the helmet. When placing the LED into the helmet, if you run into any resistance, check for extra debris or maybe even pieces of the old LED if it came out in pieces. Any extra debris will cause issues. As I pull all this together, I want to make sure that the helmet sits where I want it. Now, I plan on modifying this piece oh so slightly with a lighting effect, and that's actually to have the helmet raised slightly up to allow a little bit of bleed through from the LED down the front of the figure. And before securing the head to the body itself, we're going to go ahead and complete the electrical circuit and test the LED to make sure nothing has gone wrong. Now, for whatever reason, I didn't remove the old resistor, so that's going to go away. And I'm going to clean up this old heat shrink because I just don't want it on my display. The LED that I've chosen for this project runs on a 2 to 2.2 volt forward voltage. Now, the circuitry that we're working with is 3 volts, so I'll be using a 68 ohm plus or minus 5% resistor to attach. But before we do that, I'm going to be stripping back the wire again with a lighter, just because this wire is 20 years old. I could use strippers on it, but it stands a higher chance of breaking. And now we're going to be actually using a coin battery to test the LED to make sure it is good to go. I will be testing this at each step, so now that it worked on the bench, let's test it in the helmet. Outside of testing to make sure that the circuit is going to be functional for this retrofit, this is also providing me the information to know which side of the circuit is positive and negative based on what's touching what side of the battery. Knowing that, I can go ahead and connect my resistor to the positive leg of the circuit. Now, you can put it on the negative leg of the circuit. I just generally, as a best practice, always put it on the positive side. Now, this will just be simply twisted together. We're going to use a little bit of flux and, of course, some light-duty solder to make this connection. I'll come back and cover this with a little bit of heat shrink as well, just to go above the resistor onto that solder point connection. Now, of course, we're going to trim off any of that excess lead from that resistor because we're not going to need it. And we'll use a small piece of heat shrink. When covering your solder point connection with heat shrink, make sure you don't have any extra burrs or pokey aspects coming out of this. If you do, that could potentially cause a short later on. Now, I've just used a lighter to secure my heat shrink in place. And you can use a lighter, you could use a heat tool, you can use a hairdryer. Whatever you're comfortable with is the best tool for the job. Let's go ahead and put the helmet back onto the figure. Now, I'm going to be using a good amount of low temp hot glue. And the reason for this is I actually want to create an extra lip on the bottom side that's going to take some of the light and kind of spread it around, hopefully on the front and downward on the body of the figure. Now, I did add a little bit of glue on the back, of course, for the cape. So I'll make sure that that's placed on. Press the back first. This is going to actually pull the helmet up just a little bit and help me give that effect, hopefully. The last thing to secure on the figure itself, of course, is the wire in the channel below. Now, I didn't add additional heat shrink there because I really didn't feel like it was needed, so I'm just using some low temp hot glue. We're going to put a fair amount here and then use the battery cover to just simply flatten the glue down. Allow this to air dry for a moment, and then we can move on to adding our power jack. This is the original power jack that I pulled from the battery box, and I'm just simply going to be attaching our resistor to the positive leg of the circuit using a little bit of flux. And I'm going to use a little bit of solder, but not a lot, because there's already a lot of solder on that standoff. Now, after I get this soldered in place, of course, I'll go back and we're going to trim off any of the excess that is here. This DC jack, just so you're aware, the bottom standoff is going to be positive on the one side. Now, the other side actually had two standoffs, one up high, one down below. This is the negative side of the circuit. Now, I always cut off one of these on the bottom side, generally, just so they don't get confused. Now, if you're doing like I'm doing, be careful, because this is quite hot, and I just did kind of lightly burn my finger. But we're just going to wrap this around, and this side has tons of solder on it, but we'll add just a touch more and just dab it into place. Now, you don't have to reuse the DC jack that came with the power box. I like to, because it's one less thing in the trash. But after I'm done with this, we'll simply tuck down the leads, and then I'll use a piece of heat shrink to just cover both of these connections. Now, I didn't really do a piece of heat shrink per connection because they're so far apart, there's really no chance of a short unless you have long strands of braided wire that are just completely insecure. Now, of course, use a lighter to get the heat shrink in place. Now, let's take a quick look at the before and after. Let's take a quick look at the before with the solid green chartreuse eyes that are very hard to see, that don't really add a lot to this particular accessory. And now, the after. With the new flickering red LED, it's almost like a spirit is trapped inside the suit of armor, and I absolutely love how this turned out. Give it a little bit of a menacing vibe to it. It's going to look great in any Halloween setup or vignette. Now, around the neck, you can see the glow, and that does throw a light a little bit down and outward. It is really hard to catch with additional light around. It's a very subtle detail, but adds a little bit to this character overall. Well, that's a wrap on the Forever On Guard figure. You'll have to let me know, what did you think of the overall process to break this down and change out that LED? Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this about a 4 or to 5 on a difficulty rating. It's not terribly difficult, but you really just have to take your time when working with it. Getting the helmet off of the ceramic base, because the helmet itself is a vinyl, meanwhile the figure is mostly ceramic. They use two types of glue on this, so you have hot glue around the LED and epoxy for that helmet. So there's a little bit of painting and touch-up that has to be done afterwards, which really isn't that bad. But all in all, this really wasn't that bad to break down. Now, of course, the one thing that is a big gotcha on this is the figure on the top of the helmet. That is a very fragile piece, and it's very easy to break off. So if you've made it this far, I'd like to thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new fun villaging content. And of course, until next time, keep on villaging! Hi, and thank you so much for watching my tutorial on Forever On Guard by Dept 56, Teardown and Lighting Overhaul. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for new fun villaging content, and check out some of my other videos from platform creations to reimaginings and so much more. This accessory is part of Building Halloween 2026, so be on the lookout for that series and, of course, the final reveal. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, until next time, keep on villaging!